What up, Giants fans? We're going to break down the latest news and rumors surrounding this football team. But first, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. We put out videos every single day on the latest Giants news and rumors. We do watch party for every Sunday game, and we also go live every single Wednesday. Look, it's win or go home. I'm bringing out all the stops. I'm bringing out the Eli Manning Super Bowl 42 jersey. I'm doing whatever it takes to beat the Commanders. You want to beat the Commander this weekend? Go down right now and like this video. You are watching New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green. Give me a follow on Twitter at @MarshallGreen_. Everyone that gives me a follow, give you a follow back. Just DM me Eli so I know that you came from this video. We have a lot to talk about in today's show. We're going to talk about the latest Odell Beckham Jr. rumors because it seems like the only team left in the running are the New York Football Giants. Then we're going to talk about Jordan Addison, the wide receiver out of USC, because Todd McShay just put out his most recent mock draft. We'll break that down. And also, are the trade rumors surrounding DeAndre Hopkins heating up? That's what one beat reporter said about it, and we're going to break that down. Doesn't make sense. Could the Giants trade for D-Hop this offseason? First, though, are the Giants now the favorites to sign Odell Beckham Jr.? They were always in the top three. We always knew it was going to be between the Cowboys, the Bills, and the Giants. Well, both the Cowboys and the Bills went out and signed veteran wide receivers that lead me to believe that they aren't interested in Odell Beckham. Yesterday, the Dallas Cowboys signed TY Hilton, an NFL free agency, which pretty much makes it seem like they're out on OBJ. And then just this morning, the Buffalo Bills signed Cole Beasley, got him to come out of retirement, join his former team, which makes me feel like if you're going to sign Beasley and you're going to sign T.Y. Hilton, why would you go out and sign Odell Beckham Jr.? You just went out and signed two veterans that haven't been playing football this year. Beasley played a little bit with the Bucs, was on their practice squad, game day call-ups. But it looks like they want immediate help. And they found out Odell Beckham Jr. wasn't going to do that. Doesn't sound like he's actually going to play this year. Maybe he'll be back for the playoff. Both teams seem to be out on OBJ, and I've said this time and time on the show again. If OBJ isn't going to play this year, the only team that ever made sense to sign Odell Beckham is the New York Football Giants. Because look, can the Giants make the playoffs? Yes. Will they make the playoffs? I believe they will. But wishing and hoping that OBJ 10 months after an ACL tear was going to help you and come back and play the final stretch was always hopeful thinking. And that's what I think the Bills and the Cowboys got caught in the web of hoping that OBJ would come back. But I'm going to give you 4 reasons why I think OBJ signing with the Giants right now, even if he's not going to play this year at all, still makes the most sense. OBJ is the number 1 wide receiver in free agency coming up. What's the Giants' biggest need on this team? Probably a wide receiver. You can get a head start in free agency. Go out and sign Odell Beckham Jr. right now. Secure your big fish right now, and you can get him in the building and start working with your training staff. People are worried how that rehab is going. Is he ready to play? Was he not rehabbing enough? What about this? You get him in the building, you get him with your trainers, you get him with your doctors starting now, and he's going to have, what is it, December? The football season doesn't start till September? 9 months with your franchise instead of 6 months if you sign him in March or in April. Another thing, if DJ is your guy, you can have him work with Odell Beckham all off season long. They can get on the same rhythm. They can get on the same page. They can start to work together. But I think the biggest reason is that there's only 3 teams interested right now. The Bills signed Cole Beasley. The Cowboys signed T.Y. Hilton. And the Giants have no competition to go out and sign Odell Beckham Jr. right now. Nobody else wants him. Nobody else wants to spend the money on him right now. But once NFL free agency opens up in March or April, whenever it is, there's going to be 32 teams competing for the services of Odell Beckham Jr. How about you stand up, show him that you're interested, coddle him like the baby that he wants to be at times. We know that he loves the attention. Give him that now. Sign him now. Get him in the building. And I honestly believe that you can get him on a discount now compared to when you would sign him in a couple months in free agency. Get him some guaranteed money. Make it a 2 or 3 year deal. If you're interested in Odell, and you obviously the Giants were, they had a meeting with him, and they knew it wasn't always just a this year play. They knew it was a multi-year play. And if that's the case, why not sign him now so you can have him for the next couple of years? I'll ask you, though, even if he can't play this year, should the Giants sign OBJ right now? Like right now. Should they do it even if they know he's not going to play? What would you say? Type OBJ for yes or no BJ for no. Sound off in the comments section down below. On to story number 2 of the day. Are the DeAndre Hopkins trade rumors heating up? Obviously, we're past the NFL trade deadline. This would be an offseason move for the Cardinals. A beat reporter of the NFL, Ian Wharton, went on to Twitter and talked about the possibilities of moving on from a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. He was breaking down the cap situation for the Arizona Cardinals and said it makes sense to trade Marquise Brown on his 5th-year option, get $13.4 million in cap and assets. That or trade 31-year-old D-Hop post-June 1 to open up $19.45 Right now, the Arizona Cardinals are right up against the salary cap. Gave Kyler Murray that big contract. He unfortunately just tore his ACL. He's probably not going to be back until this time of next year, maybe a month or two prior, which pretty much makes next year a wash for Kyler and the Arizona Cardinals. So maybe is it time to hit that hard reset button? I'm going to tell you more about D-Hop, show you some stats, and how much money it would cost to trade for D-Hop, because I know Giants fans love to complain about the cap. Can't wait till that's over. We'll break down those numbers in a second, but first, I want you to run the numbers up in your bank account, and you can do that over at BetUS, Chat Sports' proud sportsbook partner. Go to chatsports.com/bet. Use promo code chat125, and they're going to hook you guys up with a 125% deposit bonus. Bet on the Giants this week. Bet a money line. They're 4.5-point underdogs. Bet a money line. You can almost double up your money. Do it with our proud sportsbook partner, BetUS. Chatsports.com/bet. Promo code chat125 for a 125% deposit bonus. Let's take a deeper look at the type of player and what it might cost and how much you're going to have to pay DeAndre Hopkins if you are interested in trading for him. So far this year, in 7 games, the guy has 49 receptions for almost 600 yards and 3 touchdowns. When he plays, he produces. Last year he was battling some injuries, only played in 10 games. 2020, he was phenomenal. 115 receptions for 1,400 yards. 2019, 104 receptions for 1,200 yards. He's 30. He's going to be 31 by the time the season starts. So I understand if there's some concern, but we know the Giants need a wide receiver. And D-Hop might be the best on the market if he truly is. What about the contract, though? I know a lot of people are going to be like, but Marshall, we don't have the cap space. Well, the Giants are projected to have $60+ million of cap space this offseason. They're going to cut Kenny Golladay, which is going to give them $7 more million of cap space. So the Giants will have almost $70 million in cap space to use. If you're wondering what it would cost for the Giants in a trade for DeAndre Hopkins, just add his 2023 base salary and the option. The cap hit is what the cap hit would have been for the Arizona Cardinals. That is not for the New York Giants. If the Giants or any team trades for Hopkins, they have to pay him his base salary and his option. So they would owe him $19.4 million in 2023, which is his base salary, pay him an option of $2.2 million, which comes out to about $22 million. And then in 2024, you pay him $15 million for the base salary and the same $2.25 for the option. So you're really not paying all that much money. I would say that's a discount for how much and how valuable the wide receiver position is right now. In my opinion, DeAndre Hopkins is still a top 5 wide receiver. He's unguardable. He catches everything. He's a guy that gets open. He does it with the best of the best. He's done it with bad quarterbacks. He's done it with good quarterbacks. We need a number 1 wide receiver. Joe Shane, he knows the Giants need a number 1 wide receiver. He's been in a franchise that's traded for a number 1 wide receiver. When the Buffalo Bills traded for Stephon Diggs, Joe Shane was the assistant general manager for the Buffalo Bills. So he knows when you have a young quarterback and you don't have a good receiving core, what do you got to do? Go out and get an elite playmaker. That's what Stephon Diggs is. And I'll tell you this much. Josh Allen is thankful that the Bills traded for a guy like Stephon Diggs. And whether it's Daniel Jones, whoever it is, if you go out and get DeAndre Hopkins, that is going to help a whole bunch, no doubt about it. So I'll ask you guys this question. Be the GM. If you were Joe Shane, should the Giants trade for DeAndre Hopkins this offseason? I think it might cost a third-round pick, maybe a second and a fourth. I mean, at the end of the day, he is 31, but he's still a productive receiver. He's got 2 years left on that contract. If you only have him for 2 years and he gets you 200 grabs in 2 years, I would consider that a success. But what do you say? Type T for trade, type P for pass. I just wanted to finish my point up with this. I think the future plans depend on Daniel Jones. If the Giants let Daniel Jones go, I'm not sure you go out and trade for DeAndre Hopkins. If you bring Daniel Jones back on a 1 or 2 year deal, how about you go and give him a number one wide receiver that he can cook with over those next 1 or 2 years? I wouldn't, move the farm for a guy like DeAndre Hopkins. But if I can get him for a second-round pick, a third-round pick, a fourth-round pick, I'm doing it because the guy's a damn good football player. I also wanted to touch on Todd McShay of ESPN. He recently put out his NFL mock draft, and he had the Giants selecting Jordan Addison with pick number 20 in round 1 of the 2023 NFL draft. And I think that's very fitting because the Giants, they need a wide receiver, and Jordan Addison is one of the best in college football coming in to the NFL draft. When you look at his stats right here, you might be like, but Marshall, you're telling me a guy that only had 810 yards is someone that the Giants should take in round 1? What about go look at what he did his sophomore year at Pitt? Because he had 100 receptions for 1,600 yards and 17 touchdowns. Transferred from Pitt, went to USC, still 8 touchdowns this year, 810 yards. I compare him to a skinnier version of Stephon Diggs. I think he's that type of player. He's crisp with his routes. He's extremely explosive. He can stretch the defense. And when he's got the ball in his hands, he moves like a running back. This is what Todd McShay said about the Giants drafting him. He said, finding a Daniel Jones replacement on day 1 likely won't be an option this late. And I'm guessing the Giants stick with Jones on a short-term contract and add some competition for him in free agency or on day 2 of the draft. But New York has to add pass catchers regardless of who is throwing to them. How about pairing Wan'Dale Robinson with Jordan Addison and an explosive receiver with the ability to come down with 50-50 balls, stretch the field, or pick up extra yards in open space? That should boost an underwhelming pass offense. I'm in 100% agreement with Todd McShay, and I usually don't do this, but he's right. This team needs a wide receiver. Bad. Like, really bad. I like Wan'Dale Robinson. He ain't a number 1. I love Sterling Shepard. He can't stay healthy. Kenny Golladay, he's playing his last games with the New York Football Giants. I like Darius Slayton. He can't be your number 1. Go out and add a guy like Jordan Addison. I believe he is a guy that could be a number 1 in the NFL. You go for 1,600 yards in college and 17 touchdowns. The guy's got the juice, and I think drafting him in the first round is ultimately worth the squeeze. I'll ask you, though, what position do you want the Giants to draft in round 1? If I had to power rank the positions of need, I would say wide receiver, corner, interior offensive line. I think you can get interior offensive line a little bit later in the draft. But look, if there's a guard that you think is going to be a Hall of Famer in round 1, go take him. If the best player available on the board is a corner, take him. At the end of the day, I'm kind of down for the Giants taking best player available in round 1. But I want you guys to let me know what position you want them to take. Sound off in the comments section. I appreciate everyone, as always, for making Giants Now a part of their day, every day. A lot of stuff to talk about on today's show. We'll be live tomorrow. We'll do our Giants versus Washington preview. We'll keep you up to date with the latest injury news as the Wednesday's practice injury report will come out. Until then, go Giants. Give me a follow on Twitter @MarshallGreen_.